All right. Hey guys. So welcome to your Dream Team Monday Night Zoom. Tonight we're going to talk about bad habits because we all have them. um, and I actually was, I don't want to say uninspired. Like obviously last week I was like super fired up and like just had to get all that off my chest. And so today I was just feeling very mellow. So I actually reached out to some people and I was like, what should we talk about? And so basically like the topics that were coming are just bad habits, just bad habits that people have when it comes to this business. So Sonia says I'm the queen of bad habits. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm going to ask all of you to put at least one bad habit in the chat that you know you have that affects your business. I will wait. And if you can't type, you can just unmute and shout it out real quick. Because Olivia probably has a child in each arm. Scrolling, scrolling. Oh, funny. Anybody else? Courtney, Laura, Lacey, anybody else have a bad habit? Taking amazing notes from Zoom, which takes time away from my business and then not putting them to use. Bam.
I'm driving, so I will tell you, yeah, I have all kinds of bad habits. I mean, where do I start? And I will say sometimes it's group chats, not throwing my potentials into a group chat throughout the day because I'm working and I know they're working and I'll just answer the question and go on. So that is a bad habit of mine.
Okay. Olivia says, say what? Nope. Cooking, dinner, and space out. Just asking what a bad habit with your business is that you have. Like what's one bad habit that you have that affects your business? Bless her heart. All right. Well, while you're thinking, I'm actually just going to kind of go through some that I jotted down before, obviously, we got on here. And then we're going to talk a little bit about just habits in general, like how you form them, how to break them, because we all have bad habits. I have bad habits too. Like, I'm not here to be like, oh, be perfect, because I'm not. And it's honestly, there are different times in your business where you're going to have a different habit, like it's weird. Like you could be just Johnny on the spot for 6 months, something, then all of a sudden you get this bad habit that pops up. So for me, it's something I'm always having to reevaluate. So I just feel like that's something that we're going to talk about tonight. So the first bad habit I wrote down here was number one was cell phone time. And so Sonia already hit it with scrolling. This little box, especially for someone like myself, who just loves to be overstimulated. My little brain just loves to go in a million directions. And I am very guilty of having a YouTube video playing on my phone while scrolling Facebook. And then I swear I will sit down at the computer while it's all happening and pull up my computer. Like what? Nothing's productive. I'm not actually absorbing any of that. There's no way possible. But it's just a bad habit. So, how do you break that? Well, for me, it's a matter of looking at the phone at certain times of the day and only looking at it for a certain purpose. So there is no way for me to say that I'm not on my phone all day. I am. But there are times where I'm only checking Messenger. There are times where I'm only making a post. There are times when I'm purposely searching or scrolling. So like, for example, when we are out Ben bossing together and Tom is driving, and he can attest to this, the phone will ding and ding and ding and ding. I will only pick it up when it's a messenger or a text ding, and I'll check it and see if it needs to be responded to. And you guys, a lot of times it doesn't need me in the moment during the day. But sometimes it does. Sometimes it's a real live chat and I want to respond to it. But very rarely will I pick up the ding for like a Facebook post or, like the notification where like somebody tagged you in something or whatever. I don't respond to the TikTok ding. I don't respond. I don't do that. But every night before bed, I do give myself some scrolling time. And I try to be more specific with my scrolling time too. Like I'm trying to use my scrolling time to find reels to then use, which by the way, Sonia, shout out. I loved your reel. I don't know if you posted it early this morning or last night, but it was so good. It was so good. I was so proud of you. Like I got giddy and I showed it to Tom and I was like, look, it's Sonia. She did so good. Okay. Olivia says, literally can't focus on one thing for more than 5 minutes. I cried to Sandra about it multiple times. Well, honey, don't cry to Sandra because she has the same problem. Like that's just the blind leading the blind on that one. I don't. Well, okay. So that's one of them on here, but why do you need to focus on so many things at once? Like you have children to take care of. That's your top priority. Like you got to keep these little critters alive. So don't try to do 8 different things or even 3 different things. Don't try to do more than you can. I think that's a problem or a bad habit that we all have. We think we should be multitasking. We think we should be able to do all the things. We think we should have a kid on one hip and be able to make dinner and be on the Zoom and be making a post and thinking about a reel, right? Is that what's going through your head right now? You don't have to do all of that. I appreciate you being on here and I love the fact that you can be on here while you're cooking or doing something, but I also know that I record these for a reason and you can always go back and do them later. So you don't have to be multitasking all the time. You don't have to overwhelm yourself with all of that. But so cell phone time was the first bad habit. Let's go back through some of these. Okay, so taking the notes. All right, so the other big one that I think a lot of people have that makes it a bad habit is not treating your Lavelle business like a business. So what does that mean? You don't think twice about the shit jobs that you have at your day job. You just do them because it's part of your day job. But when there's a shit job for your Lavelle business, you put it off, you put it off, you put it off, you put it off. You don't do it. That's not treating it like business, right? You have to remember to make a paycheck, you have to do all the things for your business, whether you like them or not. That's just being in business. And I'm not even trying to be mean. That's just part of it. I talked a little bit say cooking and zooming, nice, lazy, and being scared. Totally speaking to me tonight. Oh, good, Saudi. Well, I'm glad you're here for me to talk to you then. I talked a little bit about it last night on the power plan. Like there are people who are avoiding doing stories or avoiding doing reels because they don't want to. Well, anybody right now who is, I think of a product that you love. Maybe it's like, Nike shoes or your iPhone or whatever. If you went to their TikTok page right now, first of all, you expect there to be a TikTok page, right? You just do. You expect that there is an Instagram page. You expect that there's a Facebook page. You expect this because why? Because they're a big business. So you expect them to be on there. You also don't expect to just get there and find it empty. You expect it to have stuff on there. You expect it to be updated because it's a business. And so when people say, I don't like doing stories or I don't like doing reels, it's your business. It's expected. That stuff is just always expected to be there. Just like how, like when I talk about, the bad habit is not treating it like a business, some people don't even do their reach outs because they don't want to, they don't feel like it that day. I don't know. They weren't in the mood. They ran out of time. Well, I get running out of time. I get being busy and I get being not in the mood, but I also know it's my job. It's a business. So even bare minimum, you guys, the top producer in this company only asks you to do 5 reach outs a day. That's piddle, right? 5 a day. That's all they're asking. And some people aren't even doing 5 a day because why? They don't feel like it. Well, that's up to you. Like this is your business. And if that's how you want to run it, cool. It's been fun. See you on the flip side. But if you really want to run this business, you have to set aside time to do the things that you don't want to do. You guys, you all know, I 1,010% over the moon, absolutely cannot stand bookwork or taxes. But the IRS expects it. So on Mondays, I make myself sit down and I make myself go through my stuff. I hate every second of it. I hate it, but it has to be done. And nobody second guesses that, right? Nobody questions that the IRS wants all that stuff turned in. So we do it. So treat yourself, give yourself the same high expectations that you allow other people to hold for other things in your life. Trying something new like a reel or a story at first is scary and it sucks, but it's like riding a bike. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. The more you put it off, the more you procrastinate, the harder it's going to become because you're going to make it into this horrible thing in your head. And I mean, I've already talked about a million different ways you can do reels and not even have to film yourself. Like you have tons of pictures on your phone already. You could put those on a reel. There's nothing holding you back from making a reel except yourself. But I'm a huge fan of Instagram reels because you hit the filter and all of a sudden you got like makeup and you look pretty and you could look like total trash without that, but it doesn't matter. It looks good. Number 3 on my list is not being consistent. And that goes back to not treating it like a business. I do believe that it is important to have a day off. I really do. I know some people will argue with that, but I think it's really important. You'll notice my social media on Sundays is not as busy. But I too need a break. I too need to shut my mind off. I too need to step away for a minute. I need to, have a day. It's not that I quit. Obviously, I'm on my Zoom by Sunday night, every Sunday night, but I'm not like going at it as hard on Sunday. Maybe Sunday is a great day for you and you can be focused on social media. Maybe Wednesday sucks. So maybe that's the day you pull back a little. But here's the thing. It's a set day that you decide that you pull back. You don't turn it off. Like if your social media is turned off, that means the front door to your business is closed. So you don't turn it off. You just aren't purposely in there as often. But you can't be like, well, I've had a rough week, so I'm going to take a few days off. Or yesterday sucked, so I'm going to take today off. And then, I'm going to take, you can't do it like that. You have to have a set schedule. It's the same thing. You can't show up at work on Monday and be like, today sucked. I'll see you guys on Friday. I mean, that would be awesome if you could go in the office and do that, but you can't. So it's the same thing with your business. So if you start to feel yourself being like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed, or oh my gosh, I'm this, I'm that, blah, 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 then look at your schedule. What are you doing and how could you stay more consistent with it? And sometimes to stay more consistent is to give yourself a break. But again, it has to be a scheduled, planned ahead, starting time and ending time of the break. It can't be this ongoing thing that you never come back to. That is what is somewhat helping me, giving myself business hours. Yes, absolutely. There's like this people pleaser in me that I'm like, oh, the phone dinged. Oh, the phone, oh, and I want to check it so bad. But you guys all know, typically from 9:00 till 6 a.m., I don't check my phone. Sometimes I do because I've got that, like, I got to look, but I try not to because why? Because it's 9:00 at night. Like it's okay to put the phone down, right? It's okay. And the times that I do check my phone after 9, it's usually a funny meme, might be a hilarious TikTok. It might be a question that didn't need my attention in the moment. So I'm always like, just put it down and focus on brushing my teeth, getting in bed, getting myself ready for the next day, right? And even when I first wake up in the morning, I'm always tempted to check my phone first. I try not to. I try to take my capsules. I try to have just a few more minutes in bed. Obviously, we have to feed the dogs, we have to get stuff ready. So yeah, and we've talked about this before. Yes, I put myself with my capsules on my story every morning, but you guys, I take that picture or that video at night before I go to bed because my capsules are by the nightstand. So I'm doing it before bed. And that way in the morning, I don't have to think and do all this stuff because I know for me, the second I get up and I pick up that phone to do a story, I'm going to start scrolling. I'm going to start doing all the things, or I'm going to go look to see who else has capsules and what did their picture look like, blah, 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 blah. So just cut yourself a break. Like, come up with a system, come up with a routine that makes it easy for you to stay consistent. Number 4, and this is one that I think we have, what I need to do that. Yes. Wait, which thing? What I need to do that? Take the picture of your capsules before bed. Is that what maybe you're saying? Yes. Yeah. And here's the other thing I do. Sometimes I'll take several and I just keep them on my phone and then I'll just scroll through and pull one out and put it on there. Like it's not always me in the moment, kids. I mean, my hair always looks like crap and my face is clean because I'm going to bed, right? So it's pretty much how I'm going to look in the morning anyway. So yeah, I just do it before bed. I just think it's easier. And then honestly, like there are some days too, if I forget, there are so many stored in my Instagram camera roll that I'll just scroll back through a couple of months and pull one and put it back on there. Nobody remembers what you shared 2 months ago. I don't remember what I shared 2 months ago. Laura Wurzman is the one that taught me this a long time ago. I would panic on Ben Boss. I'd be like, oh, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what picture to use. I already used that picture. She's like, nobody remembers what picture you used 3 weeks ago. And she's right. They don't. So make it easier on yourself. Like store those pictures. You are genius. Maybe, or lazy, one or the other. Sonia says, I find when I have the babies or issues with Charlie, I'm struggling to get posts in. Busy days at work and throw me off, but I do always post my capsules. Yes. And so that to me is a very important thing. You post your capsules. And I've talked about this before. I personally, for me in stories, yes, we can share all the things, but I think as a consumer watching someone's stories, if they're constantly showing 8 different products, I am overwhelmed and confused. I'm starting to think it's super expensive. How would I ever afford all of that? How do they remember to take all of that? But if somebody is just showing me over and over and over that they have these capsules they take in the morning, that starts to trigger my mind. Like, it's just these 2 little things. Every morning it's this little packet. Every morning it's these 2 little capsules. Like, that to me is more repetitive. So I think it's awesome to just have that every single day. Yes, you can sprinkle in other things down the road, but if people actually saw all the different Thrive products I use throughout the day, first of all, Paul Grabette would be like, wow, I'm impressed. And thanks for being part of the company, Tammy. And other people would just be like, how the hell? Like, how does she do? You're like, what? I can't remember all that stuff. So to me, I think that's super important. Same Sonia, my capsules there every day, but some mornings I'm in robot mode, take the capsule. Yes, so that's okay. So if you forget to take your picture, it's okay, because you have old Instagram pictures from your stories that you have uploaded. At least, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's a setting in Instagram or on my phone, but every time I upload a picture to a story or make a post or whatever on Instagram, it automatically saves to my camera roll in my phone. And so I could forget for the next 4 years and I should be able to go back and find a ton of pictures that I could upload in place of that. So again, just make a system that it's easy for you to stay consistent. You're like, if you think about your regular day job that you have or you had, there was a system in place that makes it easy for you to do the things you do. Like, you probably ran certain reports on Monday, or like, so Samantha, like, she had every morning there was probably a printed sheet of who was coming in and what they were doing so she could get her supplies ready. Like, so if you just think of that every morning, like, what's my list of things to do? Share my capsules on my story. Oh, hell, I forgot. I've already gotten dressed and I'm driving down not driving down the road, but I'm at a stoplight. I can upload an old picture. Again, just make it easy to be consistent. So number 4, only working for promos. We've all done this. I mean, guilty. Like, I work every single day, but you put like a Mexico trip in front of me, and you all know Tammy works like, I don't know, like a girl in the corner who's got bills to pay. Like, I will work double time. And there's times too where people will suddenly, like, nothing all month, and all of a sudden the last 24 hours, like, they're hauling ass. So again, if you're consistent with your business, you don't have to get crazy you can get crazy for promos, but you don't have to get crazy for promos. Because here's the thing, if you only work once every 3 months because you want to earn a trip, that's how your business and that's how your paychecks are going to be. I don't know about you. Like, I love the free trip, but I would love to have the consistent paycheck even between the trips, so that if I want to take a trip, I have money to take the trip. Like, I don't want to just have these highs and lows, and I don't want to just have a big check for double, triple that I turn around and write out rebates for. I want to have good regular paychecks, but that comes from good, consistent business every single day. And there are times, we've talked about this before, people get nervous, like, oh, they did this promo and I've only got 4 days to go get new customers. How am I going to find new customers in 4 days? Well, if you've been doing your reach outs every single day, you've got names to work with. But if you've waited and you took a little break, or you didn't get around to it for 3 days, then yeah, you're probably panicked. You probably don't have names to go with. That's why it's so important to be consistent and do all of those things. So don't always just work for promos, because if you're only going to work for promos, your customers are only going to order on promos. And again, like, there are certain places I go, like, so think about it. We're all like TJ Maxx shoppers. You don't go into TJ Maxx expecting to pay full price. You absolutely do not. If I go into TJ Maxx and I pick something up and it is over $24.99, I'm like, what the hell? I'm in TJ Maxx. What is this, highway robbery? Like, I am completely offended. So if you develop that attitude with the customer, they're only ordering when they can get half off, they're only ordering when they can get something free, you're setting that expectation with them. So always be working with your customers. Yes, it's nice when you have something that you can throw out, like the double, triple. And again, I learned the hard way. I don't do double, triple for everybody under the sun. I just get to however many I need. And then, sorry, the promo's over. We've cut it off. You were out of time. Because I would much rather just sell a couple of those on rebates and then have people have to order regular packs. But again, that's just, things that you learn you've been in this business. Number 5, only posting sales or sale like things when you talk about Thrive on social media. So, and again, the faces on here I don't think are offenders of this, but I want to share it anyway for somebody who might catch it on the replay. If the only time you think to share the product or the company is when it's in promo form, for example, half off or free shipping or something like that, then you're becoming that sales warehouse. Like, first of all, it probably doesn't even really pop out to people on their feed because you're probably just using a graphic that the company already made. You've cropped it and screenshot it and all that jazz. So it looks like an ad because it is an ad and it gets scrolled by. We all do it. When I'm scrolling on Facebook, I see ads, I scroll on by, I don't read them. So if that's the only way you're sharing Thrive, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Our product is important because it helps people. You don't have this business without people. So if you can talk about either your story, like, and it doesn't always have to, like when I know sometimes when I say share your story, people think they have to make a post and write their whole story. And I don't mean that. It could be a snippet of your story. It could be how Thrive helped you, maybe like Sonia, how Thrive got you out of your boot. It doesn't have to be, I was falling asleep and doing other things, blah, 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 my feet. It doesn't have to be the whole story. It can just be a snippet of it. But then the following week or so, you could talk about how you used to doze off while driving to work. Like, you can just share little snippets of your story, because here's the thing. Somebody out there is falling asleep driving to work that doesn't have a foot problem. But somebody out there has a foot problem that doesn't have a sleep problem. So if you throw all the things at them, it's just going to overwhelm people. But if you just stick to a couple of things that it helped you with, if you want to talk about the business and how it's helped you take a trip that you never thought you could take, or how it's helped you have a car you never thought you could have, that's so much more important and impactful for people, because it's the story of, like, they're going to see their story in you. I mean, we all go through this. Like, you find somebody on, maybe it's another leader in the company, and you're immediately like, oh, I love her. Oh my God, I love her so much. If you really sat and thought about why you love this person, it's because they remind you of yourself. There is something about their story that you see yourself in, because there are tons of leaders in this company that I have met, or I've read their story, and there's nothing wrong with them, but I'm not like obsessed with them, because there's nothing in their story that relates to me. And that's fine. We don't have to relate to everybody. But the people who I feel connected to are the ones who I'm like, oh, yes, I get it. Yes, same. I feel the same way, or that's the same thing that happened to me. So if you really want to attract people to you with what you have to offer, with how you can help change them, their life, benefit them, share what the product or the company has done for you. I do think it's important to share from the fan page. But again, I also think I don't do it all the time. And I know Paul would yell at me right now, but I think it's more impactful to share either people who my friends are going to know. Like when we had that local last week, sharing Tonda, who was our speaker. She's a real life person from around here that a lot of people know, and they respect her and they love her. And for them to know that she's a thriver and that she loves it so much that she comes to talk at our events, that to me means more than a random before and after. But with that said, I do also still share, like today, if you go look, I shared some Makeover Mondays today because it's Makeover Monday. So again, it's just being consistent, but it's being broad with how you share it. Instead of just selling or sharing the little sales graphics, it's sharing something that would mean something to someone. And then the last thing that I will end on is, we talk about this all the time, but it's the basics, you guys. It's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right now, Maria, and actually just done a minute ago, Maria has that 90-day challenge with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And, I don't, and I'm not saying that it's important that you use me for your number one at the very bottom, but I only have a few people who have done any sort of connection with me over the last week or so. And I've talked to other leaders on the team that have team members, and they said they're not really getting anybody checking in with them. So unless you're turning in your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and at the very bottom where it says connecting with your leader, unless you're putting 0, I don't know who you're talking to, but as long as you're talking to someone, that's fine. It could be me, Lindsay, Susan, whoever you love. But that to me is a red flag. I'm like, well, people are saying they're doing this, but nobody's really checking in. No one's really connecting. Now, granted, tonight on the Zoom, as far as I'm concerned, we're connecting, like check, done. Last night on the Zoom, we were connecting, check, done. I get that. But are you doing the basics? Are you doing the 5 reach outs? Are you doing the 4 follow-ups? Are you doing the 3 social media posts? Are you doing the 2 connections with new people? And so remember, if you're doing any of the what do they call it? Wake up and wins, and I'm just going to say it, and no, I'm not going to say it. There's a couple of them that I like better. Like there's just a couple, the way they are run, like it just makes more sense to my brain and I get so much more done. I will tell you, if we had done the 90-day challenge 6 months ago, that whole like adding 2 new people, that was really hard for me. Not because I'm not willing to go in and click add, follow, whatever. I am, but thanks to doing the reels and getting out of my little box, now I have people following me. Now I have people friending me. And so that to me is so much better than me always being the person following new people. So doing the basics. I can't get on them as they are happening. And then I'm bad about going back and listening to them. Yeah. But I will also say, Sonia, you're on quite a bit of Zooms. I will send you one that I think was really, really good. It was just literally from the first week when they changed the name. And I can't get on them all the time either. However, if I get to like near the end of the day and I'm like, oh, shoot, I don't have all my stuff done, I will pull that one up and I'll just follow along really quick. And it gets me right in the mood and I get everything done really fast. Yeah, 9 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is a tough time for me. I mean, heck, for Sam right now, that's 6 a.m. So it's not the best for all of us. But yeah, I think it's important to have one that you can really relate to, and then you can just go back through and do all the things. We're not gonna have time to talk about how habits are formed and how to break them, but hopefully this helps you think about some of the bad habits that you might have. Maybe I even named off a bad habit you didn't realize you had. Like I love the one that Lacey said way earlier here. We didn't really talk about it too much, but there are so many times that you could be on a Zoom or you could be on a wake up and win or a leadership call or whatever, and you hear like amazing tips. And then 5 days later, you're on another Zoom and you're like, oh, these are good tips too, but nothing has changed. We did. Okay. But also that kind of goes back to don't overwhelm yourself. Just because you hear 5 or 6 good tips doesn't mean you have to implement them all right away. However, if you're constantly showing up for the Zoom, but nothing's changing because you're not doing any of the business, I would rather you only be on 1 Zoom a week and just take what you've learned and do something with it versus being on 4, 5, 7, 12. I mean, the number of Zooms a person could be on is very large, which is awesome because we have tons of support and it's always there for you. But at the same time, if you're always in support mode, then you're not out in action mode. And action mode is where the magic happens, right? Like we can talk about how to talk to people, but if we're not talking to people, then it doesn't matter. They could give us the perfect script that would like magically make anybody a customer. But if you're not out there using it, then it's not going to matter. So definitely try to not overwhelm yourself by trying to be all the things and do all the things. Find what works for you. Set I know we've said it till we're blue in the face, but set it on your calendar. Like maybe Mondays is when you reach out to the moms, Tuesdays when you reach out to the teachers, whatever you need to come up with to help your brain stay on track and stay consistent, then that's what matters. And honestly, if you're starting to compare yourself with someone else and you're like, well, I can't do it that way because there's no way I can get in 50 reach outs, just start with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just start with the 5. How can I make sure I talk to 5 people on Monday? How can I make sure I follow up with 4 people on Monday? How can I make sure I get 3 social media posts? And you guys remember posts, I guess they're called posts on both. Posts, reels, stories, videos, lives, that's all social media as far as I'm concerned. So if you've done a couple of stories and you've thrown out a reel and you've got a post, awesome. Go get your reach outs done. Like you don't have to have 3 Facebook posts and 3 Instagram posts and 3 stories. Like you don't have to do all that. My Lord, that would require a full-time assistant to do all of that stuff. So just do what you can, but be consistent with what you do. So I think it's super important that we all put our capsules in our story or something, whatever your favorite particular item is, to share that in your story over and over. I think it's super important to talk about your free credits on the 2nd of the month. I think it's really important to talk about your auto bonus on auto bonus day. Like if you're going to Las Vegas this week, I think it's important to talk about it. And again, I don't think it does much for someone to scroll past your page and see the Vegas Palooza graphic from Lavelle. I just, that is an ad. That doesn't mean anything to anybody unless they're already a Thrive promoter. And I don't know about you, but I don't need more existing Thrive promoters. I need new ones. So I'm going to share something about going to Vegas. What does it mean to us to go to Vegas? What are we going to do when we're in Vegas? Who are we going to get to see? What is it, doing for us as a couple or as a company? Like that to me is what I would rather read versus seeing an ad. So just try to get focused on really sharing your story. And honestly, like some of this, I don't know if you guys have read Jason Camper's book yet, and I'm almost done with it, but a lot of what I'm telling you is just stuff he learned over 20 some years in the business. And he will be the first to tell you, don't overwhelm people with science. Don't overwhelm people with facts. Don't bore people with a blah product. So we have amazing products and we have incredible stories. And so that's really all you need in life is to sell anything is an incredible story, which you have because you're a thriver, and an awesome product, which you have because you're a thriver. So try to pay attention to your bad habits. If you're catching yourself in the bad habit, that's step one. Like, what is it? Like the whole Alcoholics Anonymous, like step one is realizing you have a problem. So if you are seeing the bad habit happen, like stop yourself. Like, okay, wait, that's the bad habit that I don't want to do anymore. What do I want to do instead? And then like somebody asked me earlier today, we were talking about ADHD and dyslexia and things like that. And she was like, well, how did you decide to change this? And I was like, I made the decision to change it. Like, that's all that boils down to. You have to make the decision. If it's a bad habit, if it's serving you and what is it? Dr. Phil would say it's serving you somehow. So either the bad habit is keeping you where you're comfortable. And that is a very, very powerful reason for people to keep bad habits. So that if you can recognize that, then have that conversation with yourself. Why am I comfortable here? Why does it scare me so bad to grow? Why does it scare me so bad to build this business or to whatever it is that your bad habit is keeping you from? I would start there. And then also if you really pay attention to your bad habits, there's typically something that happens right before the bad habit, like something will trigger the bad habit. So maybe every night at 7:30 when you want to do your reach outs, a show comes on that you love, that you hear the sound and that's your show and you walk away. Or maybe you've got some sort of existing thing in your routine already that stresses you out, and that causes the bad habit of you scrolling versus posting. So if first just recognize those bad habits. Secondly, ask yourself why you have them. And then third, get really deep into like, what is triggering this? What is making me run to the refrigerator to eat something versus just sit down and write my post? Like what is it that's throwing me off? Takes a lot of work, but you guys are worth it. So I don't know. I just want to talk about bad habits and how we all have them and we can all overcome them. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this gives you guys something to think about. I actually have like a ton of information on habits and how you form and how to break them. And I can put some links somewhere in Facebook if you guys want to look at those. But again, I encourage you not to read a bunch about the bad habit as much as like just identify what bad habits you have. Honestly, taking a sheet of paper and writing out your bad habits is more powerful than reading about how habits are formed, because sometimes we just have to admit that it's a bad habit. So anyway, that's all I got for tonight. I'll see you guys later. Bye.